Summary of the Uprising Campaign 2024. Triumph Award Ceremony. First triumph, Champion of the Dark Gods, the gang which has won the most scenarios for Chaos. With 5 wins for Chaos, unsurprisingly, goes to Outcasts, the only gang that was aligned with Chaos from the beginning of the campaign. What is surprising, however, is that Orlocks, which maintained neutral for the whole campaign, also got 5 out of their 6 wins fighting on behalf of Chaos itself, tying the triumph with Outcasts. Second triumph, Scion of the Imperium, the gang which has won the most scenarios for Order. This triumph is clearly taken by Cawdor gang, which scored all of its win as Order, spreading fanatical faith in the Emperor. Close second are Enforcers, also scoring all of their wins as Order. Third triumph, Warmonger, the gang with the highest win ratio. This triumph is also shared ex aequo between Orlocks and Outcasts, tied at 67% win ratio. Only one other gang, Cawdors, managed to stay above 50%. The rest of the gangs fought valiantly, usually pushing the enemy to the fullest to get their wins. Fourth triumph, Icon of Salvation, or Damnation. The gang which had the most alive fighters on its gang roster at the end of the campaign. Growing unrest in the Hive Arcos and increased pull of chaos on its citizen allowed Outcast gang to swell the most during the campaign. At the end of the campaign, 18 worshippers of chaos joined Catherine's Outcasts in her bloody rituals. This was at the cost of the gangs following Order, which ended campaign with the fewest number of active fighters. Fifth triumph, Survivor, gang with fewest deaths. Only Outcasts managed to finish the campaign with clean slate of 0 deaths, showing that Chaos provides great boons for its worshippers. Sixth triumph, Legendary status, gang with the highest reputation. With a nail-biting finish, Cawdor managed to secure the first place in reputation score at the end of the campaign, showing that many sacrifices of the zealots and fanatics didn't go to waste in providing respect for the burned victims. Seventh triumph, Sacrifices had to be made, gang that suffered the most deaths. Thanks to unfortunate beginning of the campaign, with staggering amount of 4 deaths in Escher's very first game against Cawdor, Escher's topped the charts of dead fighters during the campaign, with close runner-ups of Cawdor and Saar. 8th and last triumph awarded to gangs. Battered but not out, gang that had the most total lasting injuries among the fighters surviving the campaign. At the top are Enforcers and Cawdors, with 18 total lasting injuries. Some individual recommendation go to Badger with 4 lasting injuries and 1 mutation, and to Wilburn with 4 lasting injuries. No quitting in those fighters. Before we go into the triumphs and recognitions of individual fighters, some general statistics. A total of 228 meat portions were harvested by gangs in the second phase of the campaign. Staggering amount of 61 meats were obtained by the Outcasts, mainly due to large number of terrains they had under their control. Saar seemingly didn't like human meat, or they were turning into vegans, with only 19 meats harvested. A total of 172 advancements were obtained by fighters that survived till the end of the campaign. The highest amount of advancements on a single fighter was obtained by Saar, Queen of Black Lillies, an Escher gang, with 7 advancements. Escher ended the campaign with the most mutations on alive fighters. Only Saar managed to keep clean of corruption, their irradiated bodies providing protection from warp energies. There were 3 gangs that tasted human flesh during the missions by cannibalizing downed fighters, Escher, Cawdor, and Saar. 2 fighters cannibalized twice, Wilburn and Escher Lynx, Ichi. One of Escher little sisters, Ye, was bitten 3 times in a single game, continued to fight to finally die out due to critical injury later in that game. Analyzing the gangs that suffered the most during the campaign, we look at number of serious injuries and out of actions received by each gang. 2 of the most numerous gangs sit at the top with Cawdors and Escher along with police force from Blue Sentinels. On the other end of spectrum we have Outcasts, which were lucky enough to keep all of their hive scum alive till the end, so they managed to dodge most of the lethal attacks. Fighters were not only dying through direct attacks from their opponents, many bled out during the mission, without any friends able to help them, or despite receiving medical assistance from friends. This statistic was taken only in the second part of the campaign, the damnation phase. Total of bleeding out of actions was 32, with Escher bleeding out the most. Seeing fellow fighters dying or being seriously injured resulted in many fighters breaking and running away. But since we do not condone this kind of behavior, let's focus on gangers that came back to their senses, or received a stern command, resulting in them rallying and coming back to the fight. Enforcers, who usually were advancing in a tight formation, with multiple policemen shoulder to shoulder, were at the top with 13 rallies over the course of the campaign. The rest of the gangs are pretty close to each other. Focusing on a lethality of each gang, we first look at the number of serious injuries and out of actions scored by each gang. On top stand 2 gangs, Outcasts and Orlocks, scoring a total of 70. Enforcers and Saar were maybe more focused on subduing and capturing their opponents with 48 and 49 score respectively. To not leave anything to chance, it is the best to just kill the enemy outright with a direct out-of-action result. The table shows amount of out-of-action results scored by each gang during the course of the campaign. Skulls for the Skull Throne. Gangers that were not killed but fell seriously injured could be helped up to their feet by comrades. Looks like the policemen were the ones that took the saying "no man left behind" to their heart. We do however still remember Deathstrike and Automatus letting their wounded friends die or even be captured by the opponents right under their noses. On the other hand, Saars were a bunch of individuals, not even stopping to help anyone injured. Now we proceed with the individual awards. First individual triumph, Slaughterer, the fighter who scored most out of actions. Winner of this triumph is Demon Ebriators from Dark Soliloquy gang. From the beginning he was terrorizing Hive Arcos, scoring a total of 13 direct kills. Now we look at top 5 of out of action scored for each gang. 2 melee monsters, Demon Ebriators and Champion Ishmael, lead the way for Dark Soliloquy, an Outcast gang. They are followed closely by 2 non-sanctioned Psykers, Champion Anyar and their leader, Catherine. 5th place is for Hive Scum Merex, which advanced to a position of a specialist and utilized his infiltration to threaten opponents with shard grenade and blasting charges. 4 face-melting Doggos top killers all wield Saar favorite type of weapon, plasmas. Akimbo Jane, with 2 plasma pistols, and Overcharge, with plasma gun, are top with 6 kills, followed by their leader Fox, another plasma gun. 2 techs with last carbines close out the list, Scatterjack and Lower July. Grifters of Rust top killer is Demi, showcasing lethality of the heavy bolter, dispatching enemies in a single salvo of rapid fire to death. Next is Champion Bodhi, who joined the gang during downtime, equipped with melter gun. 2 fast-moving wreckers follow, Melee Brigit and Demo Charge Jura. Iron Stare Aaron closes the list with 4 kills. 2 patrolmen Wildfire, with shotgun, and Badger, who became a specialist, with webgun, shield, power hammer, scored the most kills for Blue Sentinels. Following are 2 fighters that often were complained about by Enforcer Pilot, Brute Automatus and Sniper Deathstrike. Enforcer Captain Fury also finished in top 5, bleeding out to memorable death in the very last game of the campaign. Black Lillies showcase their melee prowess. 2 Death Maidens open the list. First is Shinua Somi, a champion that died in the first game of the campaign, but was resurrected by Apprentice Clan Chymist as a Death Maiden. She picked up leftover weapons, chain axe and plasma pistol, from the first Queen, who also died in the same mission. Second is current Escher Queen, Sarasa, with 2 stiletto swords. In top 5 are also 2 pet lynxes, Khaleesi Itchy and Eater Itchy. First place of the burned victim was pretty easy to predict and goes to their leader Fox, running with Eviscerator, and later on picking up grenade launcher from fallen comrade. But second place might be a surprise. A Juve Boomy, equipped with 2 humble stub guns, scored 5 kills. List also consists of Almost Holy, the only champion of Cawdor that survived till the end of the campaign. Only 1 brethren with polearm blunderbuss makes top 5, Wilburn. Usually, however, they were not directly killing enemies but just setting them on fire. It's very easy to rack up the kills going for lowly scums or Juves. To reward fighters that went after tougher opponents, we present second individual triumph, Headhunter. It's awarded for scoring serious injuries or out of actions on elite type of targets, leaders, champions, brutes and bounty hunters. Demi, with a score of 8 tops this list. Third individual triumph, Pincushion, ganger who received the most serious injuries and out of actions. Highly contested statistic, especially between Enforcers and Cawdor, with those gangers that suffered the most during the missions being Blackout and Wickedburn. Fourth individual triumph, Medic, fighter that successfully assisted with recovery role. This reward is shared between 5 fighters that help twice with recovery tests for their fellow fighters. Fifth individual triumph, Busybody, the fighter that was involved in the most events during whole campaign, either as perpetrator or target of serious injury, out of action revive, rally, doing mission actions etc. Saar, leader of Black Lillies, won the reward, narrowly outshining Akimbo Jane of face-melting Doggos and Wildfire from Blue Sentinels. Sixth individual triumph, Mission-focused, the fighter that did the most mission actions, or subplots. Several fighters managed to do 3 or more mission actions, but at the top with 4 stands Brigit of Orlocks and Sumi of Escher. Seventh and last individual triumph, Campaign MVP, fighter that was chosen MVP the most times. After death of first Escher Queen of Black Lillies, one of their champions, Death Maiden Saar, took up the mantle of the new queen. She wanted to make up for heavy losses and took up on herself to play aggressively, and it shows. She was chosen MVP of the game on Escher side 5 times, securing her top spot. Since the start of the second phase, we also awarded Least Valuable Player reward each game. Shout out goes to the fighters scoring it twice in such a short phase. Akimbo Jane scoring highest in Saar for both campaign MVP and LVP. And so the Uprising campaign ends. Representatives of 2 gangs managed to board and hijack the evacuation shuttle send for Lord Asilius. Enforcer Deathstrike managed to wrestle away the shuttle controls from Sir Fox of Saar and flew away. Will any of those gangs raise up in another part of the Necromunda? Will we hear again from any of the gangs still left in Hive Arcos? We gonna find out in the next upcoming campaign, Secundus.